And, my son-in-law works in, the high transmission lines. He said that's a $1 million expense right there. 1 million. Did you see it, Joe? The derrick that went down, one of these big electric lines too.
I heard about it.
6 wires.
It dropped, but I can't figure out, man, that was a 24.
He was one lucky guy.
I can't imagine that being that strong, but
Yeah, that's the whole thing of it too, Joe.
he had to hit it just at the right point. Either
Or
bent one leg, then hit the other,
Yeah.
and then it went down.
This time.
It's just not,
Joe. It looked like you must have almost hit it with a tractor.
call the meeting to order. Stand up, okay, everybody. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You ready, Jen? All right, we'll call roll call.
Mr. Boomer,
Present.
Mr. Zimmerman,
Here.
Mr. Sarver,
Present.
Mr. Anderson,
President.
and Supervisor Musso.
Present.
Okay.
And I'm making you guys new copies of the minutes now because I put May 14th instead of May 21st. They're printing as we speak, and I will get you a copy of those, so that's the only change.
Probably have a motion to approve the minutes.
Yeah. We'll approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of May 21st, 2019. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Discussion, anything? No? Okay. All right, public comment. Who's up first?
We have Lee Clark.
Clark?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, we gotta vote on that first.
Oh, yeah.
Roll call.
Yeah, we need roll call first.
Okay, so Mr. Zimmerman, Mr. Boomer.
Present.
Yeah.
Abstain.
You don't know.
Okay. Mr. Sarver,
What's this on the meeting?
we're just approving the
Minutes.
minutes.
Approving that.
Yeah,
And Mr.
Yes.
Anderson.
I couldn't hear it.
And Mr. Supervisor.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
And now, Lee.
Now, we will have.
Alright, take two.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm just gonna
Hi, Lee.
pass that around, give everybody one. Brian, this is for you. Attorney. Pass these down. Jen.
Joe needs, there we go.
Yeah,
We
everyone
got it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next,
Rogine Hamilton.
Jean Hamilton.
I have 3 items tonight. I recently attended the Sumner Park meeting, and I was only able to do so because they have changed their regular meeting date to the second Tuesday in an attempt to be more accommodating to the people they serve. Now, I've asked you repeatedly for a change in your regular meeting date to change it from the same as the village. And the last time I brought it up, you had very little discussion, and you didn't even consider a different day or day of the week. So I'd like you to revisit the issue and discuss some actual possibilities for a change. 2, please ask Supervisor Musso again why the township is being investigated and by whom. Since October of 2018, he He has repeatedly said the lawyer told him he can't say anything about it or share any information with you. I have never heard Mr. Nelson say that in any meeting, so please ask Mr. Nelson, yes or no, if he has in fact told Supervisor Musso not to tell you anything. If his answer is yes, you should question why he is now representing Supervisor Musso and not the entire board. If his answer is no, you should question Supervisor Musso and his refusal to share information with you. And this is the third meeting that I had asked for an explanation of the $8,400 discrepancy in the General Assistance Fund. My requests have been completely ignored, which is disturbing. All of you should be concerned about this, and hopefully tonight you'll provide some clarification or take action to investigate it further. Thank you.
Okay.
Our guest speaker, is he here?
No, he is not here. He might be a little late. He didn't call me today. If he comes in late, would you guys be willing to let him speak? That'd be fine with you if they have a man, if he shows up, I don't know where he's at, but, okay. All right, yeah, elected officials report, yeah. I asked the gentleman to come up and speak about it. I went to the bank and I ended up with two different reports. I stopped one report because it would cost us $74 an hour plus the money on the checks that Sarver wanted. I am not going to allow that to happen because people that are FOIA and us are going to speak. I don't want the information out. Everything is right there in front of you with the bills. It shows you where the check went. You pull it up, it shows you the statement of the check and the check number. There is nothing wrong with that. I can't understand why anybody would do that. I think that somebody is listening to somebody else. And there isn't much I can do about it, but I think that some people better start attending to the township business instead of other people that are telling you what to do. That's about all I've got to say on that. I don't have anything else. Did you want to bring that?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up on my
Okay.
report.
All right, that's all I've got to say. Clerk's next.
I would like to strike, under old business, number 3, discuss and vote for the Pecatonica, cesspool group for the donations. I don't feel like they have all their stuff together right now, so I don't think that that's something that we should move on. Because they're looking for donations and helpers, and I don't think that it's the right time for us to be discussing it. So I'd like to strike that from the agenda.
Might have to do that by motion if there's an agreement.
Which one was that?
That
Third
is,
one.
Discussion of Pecatonica sesquicentennial.
You said number 3?
yes,
Yeah.
it's under old
Old
business, number
business.
3.
He's flipping.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we need a motion. I'll make a motion that we strike this.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on it?
I would just ask that, does that mean we're not going to donate and help them out?
Well, right
At this
now,
point in time, no, because until
Yeah.
they get their stuff straightened out, I don't wanna be a part of it.
I have received, I don't know how to say it, it's not really a request, but what they need for the picnic. Remember the last meeting we talked about the picnic? And I have been told that what they're going to put out there is going to be several $1,000s. And they are wondering if we could help them out on that. And I didn't know, but you're talking about people working.
I'm talking about both the donation and people
Yeah.
working they're asking for. I'm asking to strike it from this month's agenda.
Okay, this is June.
I don't know when it'll come back.
You know, Jim, what we could do, and Harlem Township certainly does this, is invite one of them in to make a presentation, you know, for us.
Yeah, and
Tell us what they're doing.
yeah, the next meeting is July, and August is the picnic, right, Joe?
No, July is.
July
The end of our meeting is in
No,
July.
it's in
Yeah.
August, our meeting is in July.
Yes.
They
That-
are having I believe, the volleyball thing in July, and in
Oh.
August it is the picnic for the group.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what you're
see,
talking about.
that's what I'm
okay.
talking about.
Yeah.
It's getting time we gotta do something or not,
Well,
you
let's
know.
see if they get it together. We'll just leave it at that.
If they-
Okay, I'm fine with that, but I'm like John is telling us, other townships do help with organizations like this, right?
They do.
Yes.
But usually, Joe, honestly, they usually come in and make a presentation.
Make a presentation, okay, all right,
So
I'm
I need
okay
a roll
with
call
that.
vote on that then. So
Yes,
we did
roll
a
call on
motion,
that.
a second, and then so Brian. Mr. Zimmerman? Okay, Mr. Sarver? Okay, and Mr. Anderson?
Yes,
And Supervisor Musso?
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm done.
Road commissioner. I really don't have nothing. Okay, good. All right. Trustees.
I'll give you this on the investment sheet here, I'll tell you kind of what you can do and can't do. And you mentioned something about me, being informed by other people.
Yeah, I did mention that, yes.
Well, I'm not,
Okay,
I'm me,
okay,
and that's it,
okay,
okay?
all right.
And I guess I would like a resolution brought up because of the excessive FOIAs and attorney fees, that we make a vote by the trustees to ask the supervisor to retire.
Is that right?
Yes,
Okay, on what basis?
basic of too much attorney fees and too many FOIAs.
Would you mind telling me why we have this gentleman here?
I don't think it's necessary in the first place. If we had occasional FOIAs, he would work on those, and at each meeting, no. We had years of meetings, and the attorney sat there, said nothing, cost nothing, and we done business. All of a sudden, since this last term, it's been ridiculous.
It sure has, Sarver, I'm glad you brought that up.
And
And why is it, Sarver?
it's because of the FOIAs on you.
On me?
Yep.
Oh,
There's none of these trustees or the road commissioners had any FOIAs on them.
oh, okay.
They all pertain to you, so.
Oh,
First of all, trustee Sarver, you know, the supervisor hasn't signed one FOIA. And secondly, the FOIAs are directed at the township records. That's the Pecatonica Township,
Yeah.
not Supervisor Newsom.
And it's like when he tried to make that, public speaking, if his statement in there, if I don't like what they got to say, they can't speak, and that's totally out of line.
and what did we vote for?
Well, you got a reprimand from the state's attorney on that
No.
one.
They asked, but we have an ordinance. And once
We had an ordinance that you didn't follow. We had a 5-minute speaking, and you said, because of you, you're only getting 3 minutes.
Oh,
And you
because of
told
me?
Jim,
No, you
if he didn't shut up, he's only gonna get 1 minute.
I did tell Rogine.
And that was at the
Because
time when we'd already voted on the
Jim?
5 minutes.
Hush, be quiet, Jim.
Okay, I'm
Sarver's
next then.
speaking.
I'm next then.
Be quiet.
Okay.
You go ahead, Sarver.
And that's the way it went. So she got 3 minutes. We'd had an ordinance in there for 5 minutes, which was no problem. We'd had a man speak a week or two before that, Mr. Lichter, and he spoke for about 6 minutes. I didn't agree with what he said, but he had a right to say it. So I let him say it.
Okay.
You weren't here
I wasn't here.
that time, no,
Okay,
that
All right.
particular date,
okay. Are you finished, Sarver?
as far as I can see. I'd like to
Okay.
see this on the agenda though, on this vote.
That will have to be brought up amongst all of us. So what do you want? Are you recommending that,
We just take a vote on, amongst the trustees to whether we wanna ask the supervisor to, retire.
oh, okay, you can ask.
That's right, and then the vote will just be there.
Are, okay, are you
And I'm sure you'll have 2 to 2, so.
Well, the supervisor gets the vote.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go. 3.
well,
Okay, great.
I'd like it on the agenda.
you would like it on the agenda next month, huh?
That's right.
We have to vote on that now, or, no,
This
okay,
is comment.
that's comment, that's right. Okay, Jim, you have something to speak?
Yeah, I was just reinforcing what Mr. Sarver said when you said to Rogine, because of people like you, we're going to 3 minutes. That shouldn't have been said, but I checked with the state's attorney's office and they said that, you know, that letter they gave you about it's non-binding, recommendation from the state's attorney's office about our resolution of signing up 15 minutes ahead and all that. They recommended that it was, not proper and that we should change it. I would like to see it changed, Joe, just not anything towards anybody. It's just that I like to hear what our constituents have to say. That's what I think our job is, and I would like to eliminate the rule, and if we get 15 people, Joe, I can see exactly where the attorney's resolution need be. But with the few people that speak now, I have no problem with that, listening to them. And then the other thing is, I went out and checked the fence, and I have a receiver on the back of my truck with a hitch for ball hitch, and there's no marks on the fence where I hit it. So, you know, you're kinda talking kinda out of turn, Joe. I
Am I
went out
really?
the next day. Yeah, I went out the next day and looked at it. There was no mark out there. So, I checked, Joe. That's
Okay.
all.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, and I have, like Mr. Sarver says, he has some concerns about this investigation, lawsuit, or whatever it is, Joe.
Okay.
I have some concerns about that too, whether,
Okay.
you know, I've asked to go into executive session and bring it out to the board members, not to everybody else, but just to the board members. I would like to have it brought out, and, if it's strictly against you, then Mr. Nelson is probably working for you. You're probably not working for the board.
Oh, he's working for the township.
Oh, he is.
He's not working for me.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
working for the
Well,
township.
you know more than I do, Joe. I'm just, you know, I've asked and asked. I would like to go into executive session sometime and have the whole thing brought out. Is there any movement on that or toward that?
Well, there's no reason to go into a legal reason to go into executive session is part of the problem. But isn't it?
Is
It's
John,
not pending litigation, and it's not an employee problem.
is, when he sits there and says, we're under investigation, and are the 4 of us on a board, we should know what is transpiring here? Don't you believe that?
No,
Oh, you don't, okay. All right, well, that's your belief, I believe that's incorrect.
Well, according,
We are a board, and we need to know, and he says it's not against him, so evidently it's against all of us.
according to the state's attorney, the state police, and no other organization that he knows of, including them, has got any investigation going against the township. That's the
Okay.
word I got.
Okay. Mhm.
All right,
You can
That's
know
fine.
them all you want.
that's all I
That's all
have
right.
to say, Joe.
All right, Brian?
Just one thing, the sesquicentennial thing that we just struck from the record, are we gonna look into having one of them talk to us next month?
Yeah, we could, ask somebody to come over. Yeah. Well, we could ask that. That's it. Dick, you got anything?
Well, everybody's throwing their comments around, and I've been on here 4 terms, and we've had nothing. We've been told we never opened and closed our meeting properly, but we paid our bills, we blacktopped our roads, our people that live out there in the country have talked to me every place that I've been, the church, the bar room, and downtown the coffee shop. They appreciate the blacktop roads that we've got. They can wash their cars and come to town and go back home and not have it all dusty. And I am proud that we've got our roads all blacktop except one, and I think that's gonna be operating this year.
Yep.
So I've been told, so that's all I would say. And as far as the meetings have been running properly or not, we paid our bills, and I don't know what else we gotta do. If we're gonna sit here and hassle every night, I'm almost to the age now where I think I'll retire, because it isn't worth my time to sit down here and people argue, when you're arguing over nothing. If you got something, somebody did something wrong, bring it on the table. If they don't, keep your damn mouth shut.
Okay? All right. That it? All right. Attorney,
thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. Let me just report these items. Number one, I want to point out in the statute, the supervisor is the statutory CFO of the township, which means the supervisor is by statute authorized to run the financial affairs of the township. The supervisor is also the road district treasurer. And I prepared a memorandum for the supervisor who asked me to look into this question. Section 61/70-60 is entitled Road District Treasurer, and it is clear that the township supervisor is the road district treasurer. Secondly, the road district treasurer is to be compensated, and that is contained in section 60 ILCS 1/65-20. And that makes clear that, and this is supposed to be done along with the setting of compensation 180 days before the election. But the statute is clear that it would be no less than $100 nor more than $1,000 per year. And it occurs to me that the word is shall, which means it's mandatory. Mr. Musso tells me that he's never been compensated as the road district treasurer, and it is my opinion that the supervisor has a claim for $100 per year every year he's been served as the road district treasurer, which would mean from the date of his original election through today. It's up to him to make that claim, but if he made it, I would advise that the trustees would pay it. $100 a year from 2009 to today would be at most $1,000 has to sue the township for that amount of money. I've already given my opinion, and likely I would have to represent him then. And then the township board would have to hire another attorney to defend this, and it's gonna be way more than $1,000 when all is said and done. So, but I think the ball is in the supervisor's court to send a formal letter to the board, and I would recommend you send it to the clerk, making that claim, but he's certainly entitled to money. And, you know, I will apologize for not, having resolved this issue earlier, but, you know, there's talk about how we used to do things in the old days. Well, this is not the old days. And, this is just one more, example of how, you know, kicking and screaming, we're getting the Pecatonica Township Board into the 20th century. The 3-minute requirement of the ordinance for speaking, I think, has worked very well. Ms. Hamilton spoke today and made her 3 points well within the 3-minute limit. The 3 minutes is the limit for the city of Rockford, it's for the county of Winnebago. It is for, as I understand it, the village of Pecatonica. It is a very common requirement, and it is a requirement because we passed an ordinance which makes it a matter of law. And once you set the law, then it's a matter of trying to make sure that the 3-minute limit is standard, because if you let people go over, then there is no limit. So why have an ordinance? The issue of the fence, I don't know what our deductible is, but we could turn it into Torma. And again, the litigation on that's gonna exceed any value, I think. I've already mentioned the executives. You know, you can go into executive session. It would take a motion and a second, and the person making the motion has to cite the portion of the law that allows the board to go into executive session. You can't take any action. If you come out and take action, you've got to explain what the reasons for the action were. I know that typically, especially for townships, there are 2 reasons to go into the executive session. One is litigation, and the other is employees.
Litigation.
Well,
Don't we have to record it?
Yes.
yes, we do.
And we don't have a recorder, really, other than her. I thought we had to have a video recorder.
No,
Yeah.
audio.
Okay.
So, that's my report, Mr. Supervisor. I'm always happy to do it.
Okay. We'll go into old business. Voting on the resolution of the road district to purchase a new dump truck, which, Bruce, you wanna bring that?
You should all have a copy. Do you have a copy? Bruce
Yeah,
has a
here.
copy.
Okay.
Okay,
I do.
everybody
Good.
should have a copy. You may
Yep.
not, sorry. There you go.
That's it, right?
I, actually added to that from last
Yep.
time after talking to Bruce. He informed me that the, group that we are involved with, we can actually go through and purchase from their vendors. So I just added our customer ID number, and I added the name of it, that they do sponsor Benel, where they would purchasing.
Is that this thing here?
Yes, that's the company that we're through Sourcewell, and I did give you guys all a copy of that cover letter also to refer back to. So that's added into that resolution, so that kind of covers us also. Just saying that our ID number, and we are a member of that, so, I mean.
I went down and talked to Bruce about it.
Okay,
He said,
nope,
we're
that's
covered,
fine.
you know, so I firmly believe that.
once they get done.
Yeah, once they get done, so.
Okay.
So anybody, I guess from here we go to a discussion then, or we make a motion, or?
Well, I've seen a packet that Bruce has showed me, and for this to work, and he's talked to Joe Vanderwall, and I really respect Joe's opinion, but for it to work, it has to, the source well would have to have taken bids on the purchase of this vehicle some kind of way, in my opinion, because a purchase of this kind, there has to be some competitive bid somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I can't tell the board definitively that this is what Sourcewell does until I read the information, probably, and talk to Mr. Vanderwall.
Worth.
Worth. Wallworth, what's the difference?
I work for it.
So, hello?
I'm sorry.
You know what they do in federal court, by the way?
Bring it on.
They say, Mr. Nelson, what are you earning on this case? Okay, deposit that amount in 1 hour in the registry of the clerk. So I'm not super comfortable with this.
Bruce, what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I was told by Joe Vanderwerth, Bonnell, I wish I could've got this info to John a little earlier. Joe Vanderwerth told me to have John's free to call him, because that's the way they purchase their equipment, through this company, so they don't have to take bids, so.
Well, I mean, if the board is bound and determined to pass this, I will get on this tomorrow, and if there's a problem, I'll let Bruce and the supervisor
There's no
know.
reason for you to get on tomorrow. We'll have it done.
Yeah, right.
No,
We're not gonna violate the bid
No,
statute.
but
on my watch.
state law, and Bruce knows before, when we bought the truck we have now, we did take bids. This way he went about it now, there is a bidding process, you know, and so I think you're in perfectly legal territory, Bruce, to purchase that truck. And I would make a motion to go forward with this.
Jen, did you make copies of this?
I did, I handed it out to everybody.
Okay.
Do you want my copy then?
Yeah, I was gonna, if you need, what more do you need, John, I'll give it to you. You need all the vendors?
We're gonna make a copy before John leaves.
I mean, John can have my copy. I make copies for, I thought I had made copies
No,
for.
no, he's talking about the patent.
Oh,
He's got
That
the
guy,
packet,
yeah.
not put yours is fine too.
okay, well, here's one of the sheets in the packet, so we don't
These are
waste,
cool.
we don't waste paper. And then the folder itself would, I guess, have to be copied.
Yeah, here's all the vendors.
Here, I'll make a copy of that. After the meeting. So then, are we?
Well, this says what I said it should say, which makes me feel a lot better about the contract.
Yes.
I kinda felt for you, you told me you had your ducks in a row and I believed you.
Don't always believe.
No, I believe it.
You just threw that knuckleball.
Wonder if we get 3 different opinions, we got 3 different lawyers.
Well, you get litigation.
Yeah.
If you don't have everybody's agreement.
You get 3 different lawyers, but,
This is fine.
You can keep that.
Okay. Fine.
but anyway, I'm voting to go ahead with this resolution, and
Well, you've made a motion, there needs to be a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
You said this says more along the lines of what you were hoping it would say. What's your
Well,
opinion of it though?
comply with the bidding statute, you have to be able to show that you took competitive bids. And what they've said is, we've taken bids from hundreds of nationally registered vendors. I'm not so sure that's true, but on your behalf, because you're a member, right? So if you're a member, you're part of the bidding process through them. This is what they're saying. And that is not, you know, I've seen where that does comply with the bid statute.
Thank you.
So, whether it does in this case, you know, it should.
Now, I got a question. They was looking at a truck, and they had 3 of them sitting there. And he liked the one more than the other ones. And it done what he wanted. And he would accept that, and they would bid on the other trucks, they might have been lower, but they didn't have what he wanted. Is that come into play, or?
No, because if we let a bid, we would put everything that he wanted
Okay.
into the bid. And oftentimes, you know, you get one bid.
Yeah.
Because they'd either, it's too much money to put all the additions on.
Well, they don't have it.
Or it's too specific, John. If it's
Right.
too specific, only one person can bid, but, you know, with you being
Oh,
an
will bid,
organization,
not
let's get it done.
Yeah, it's gonna snow this week. Bad.
Well, that would be bad.
Okay, so we've had a motion, we've had a second, and then discussion, and now,
Okay. You wanna bring it to a vote to buy this truck?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, roll call.
okay, Mr. Boomer?
Yeah.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mr. Sarver?
Definitely, yes.
Anderson, Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Musso?
I'll go with it. If Joe Vanderwerth is doing this, I know John is our attorney. He assured us that this is the correct way. If we get into trouble, I guess we'll pay the price. Okay?
Okay. Sign the resolution.
Yeah, we have to sign it. Who's got it?
I have it
Oh,
passed,
okay.
passed around already.
There you go.
How you voting, Sarver?
Oh. I knew what I wanted, I just didn't write it down, did I?
You ever been in jail?
Not recently.
Always a first.
I can't hardly believe that.
Very, you read the publication we get every month, and they put trucks and stuff in the back of that, is that worth it?
Yeah. He's got a hot pop, leave him alone.
Okay, the next discussion is publishing the bid in the newspaper for the old dump truck. Bruce, when we get our new one, is that when you publish it?
We could, yeah.
That's the best, safest way, because, okay,
Okay, so then you just need to let me know about 30 days prior so that we can get that published.
Okay.
um,
And
And
Now we're soliciting bids for people to buy the old
Buy
one?
the old.
Correct, and actually
Yeah.
I have kind of done up something here, if people wanna pass around and look at. And then I have a bid sheet that they can come pick up and mail back to us, and they'll be sealed. So it'll be a sealed bid till we get to whatever meeting it is, and we will open the sealed bids.
That
So-
sounds great.
That is what I have together. Don't mind the dates, I just have
Yeah,
dates in
oh,
there.
yeah.
And then that's the bid sheet, so if you guys wanna pass that around, if you have any other input or whatever you want on that, we can go from there. Here, I can start this one this way.
Open at 7 PM whenever. the
Right,
date,
yeah. Like I said, don't mind the dates, everything like that can be changed. But that top sheet's what would go into the newspaper,
Yes.
and this is what they
Yep.
pick up at the office. Oh, yes, please.
yeah, that too before.
Bruce, this thing looks like it's a hell of a bargain.
Hope it keeps me out of jail, that's all I care about.
105 miles on the chassis. This is from the rebuild.
Most of it's tires still, all that horsepower.
Well, hopefully that's, no, it's a Toyota Tundra.
Oh,
Yeah, that looks fine, Jim, that should work out fine.
So anything, if you guys feel needs to be added, just let me know. Bruce has already got a copy of that. It's the same thing, I just passed them around so we didn't have to wait for everybody to read. Huh? Every once in a while. Okay, so then we're gonna put that off then until you get the new truck and you'll give me 30 days advance on that.
Joe, do you write checks to like Lake Oil and different things
Yes,
for
we do.
Bruce's? Do you, I mean,
You
yourself?
want I write it?
Yeah.
It's printed out.
It's done over there?
Yes.
Okay. Because I got paid as supervisor to be the treasurer, but I wrote all the checks. I wrote anything Bruce asked of me, I wrote checks for him. But I would have no problem if you want to ask for compensation, that's fine.
There you go.
It's for you, Joe.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just going by what the law says, that's all.
Alright, so now we're on to new business.
I was told different, what I told John, and then John says it's just for Bruce. And, well, anyway.
Okay.
New business now.
Okay, yes. New business, voting of adding a